Everyone, I'm going to be using all these different molds to make 6 different projects, and yes, they're with bunnies, but I promise you've never seen anything like this. There's napkin holders, display stands, glass on glass art. Keep watching, I show you all of them finished at the end. They turn out so pretty. I guarantee you've never seen them like this.
So for this video, I'm actually doing 6 separate projects, all of them with bunnies, but I'm telling you, you've never seen them like this before. I'm doing them on stands, I'm doing a napkin holder, I'm doing them all different ways. So I mix up my resin, and for most of the bunnies, I use the Let's Resin Ocean White Epoxy pigment. Mix it in with the resin and dump it in for a base for all of these bunnies. At least the 2 sets of kissing bunnies and then these 2 bunnies here. And then I let these set up overnight. And then the next day I come back, and for the one set of kissing bunnies, I use flowers. So the white is set up, I put a layer of clear resin, a thin layer, and then I put these flowers on top. And remember, you have to put the greenery under the flowers, and I mess with this for probably about 10 minutes, but I do have it in fast forward so as not to bore you with it. So I get all the flowers on this, pour a little bit more resin on top, and then let this set up overnight. So for the next set of kissing bunnies, instead of putting the clear resin over the white base, I mix the clear resin with these Let's Resin chameleon flakes. Mix that in with the resin. So the white resin underneath is already set up. Pour a thin layer of this on top, and then I start assembling it. This time I'm using these acrylic flowers. And some of this I've kind of left off of it, but I use the acrylic flowers. There's also some little acrylic green leaves that I put in there. And then I come back, and as you can see, I've put some pearls down in there. And then I take some of this yellow and orange glass, even though you don't see me putting the orange on, I do after. I sprinkle the yellow glass on and then a little bit of orange glass on. Next morning, after these had set up, I came back and put a dot of UV resin in the center of each of the flowers and put a pearl in the center of each of the flowers and then put the UV light on it. So for the next 2 bunnies, the white has already set up overnight. Then I take a thin layer of clear resin and put it on top of the one with the flowers, and then start assembling the flowers. Pour a little bit more resin over the top. The next one, I dump some glass in there. This is ASHLAND decorative filler colored with Dr. Martin's Bombay India ink, the color magenta. And then I pour a little bit of resin over the top of that. For all of these projects, I'm using the Let's Resin Epoxy Resin, a 1-to-1 ratio epoxy resin. So stick with me now. I promise you these are so cute when you see them at the end. So I have 3 more bunnies, and instead of using the Let's Resin pigment paste mixed in with the resin, this time I'm using Fairy Tale Apothecary's Angel Halo Pixie Dust. It's a beautiful white glitter. Mix it in with the resin and dump it into the 3 bunnies. I have a 15% off discount code in the description if you're interested in any of their glitters. And for all 3 of the bunnies, I take these little white flowers that have pearls in the center and gold accents, and I just fill in on top of the cured resin. So I did not fill the bunnies up all the way to the top. I left a little bit of room on the top and am putting all these pretty little flowers in there, and I did this for all 3 of the bunnies. Then when I was done with that, I take some clear resin and just drizzle it over all of the flowers for all 3 bunnies. Now I do not flood these flowers. I want the tops of them sticking out, but I just put enough on so that the flowers will be held in place. And again, let this set up overnight. Then I mix up some more resin, and I mix it with the Eye Candy Snowflake mica powder. It's a real pretty sparkly mica powder that I got on Amazon. And I pour that into a 6-inch mold and I let that set up overnight. So the 6-inch mold was just for the napkin holder, and then for all the other bunnies on stands I use a 4-inch mold, and these are coaster molds, and this other one is a standalone mold. For these, it's all the Let's Resin pigment paste mixed in with resin, poured in the bottom of the molds, and it sets up overnight. So now I'm demolding them. This is the first set of kissing bunnies, and these turned out super cute, and I'm going to start assembling them in a minute, so stick with me. They all turn out different and so cute. And then these are the next set of kissing bunnies, and you can see I've added a little bit of orange glass too. These are actually my favorite. I think these turned out the best. They are so sparkly, and I think that Let's Resin chameleon flakes that I put under it makes them sparkle more. But those kind of flowers you cannot pour resin over, or you will lose the sparkle. And then this is one of the bunnies with the flowers, and then the other bunny with the glass. So here's the first of the last 3 bunnies, the ones that I did with the white and gold flowers. And that little heart in the middle is actually on the opposite side. If you flip the mold over, there's a heart mold on the other side, and I do not use it for this video, but isn't that pretty? And here I am demolding the other 2 bunnies. And then I take all 3 bunnies and I use the Art Deco Gold Metallic Oil-Based Marker and paint the exterior of all the bunnies. And this just accents it so pretty. Now with this, once you put a layer on, you have to wait for it to dry if you need to go over some areas, or else it'll actually pick up what you just put on. So you have to be careful. And I was forever putting my fingers on the sides. You have to be careful not to touch it. While it's still drying, it'll come off onto your hands. I also use the marker to do like the top edges and around the little heart in the middle. I thought that looked real pretty. I took a 7 by 9 inch frame, cut off the backing. I was trying to get the glass out, but it was kind of stubborn, so I decided to clean it with it right in place. And this old frame I picked up at a garage sale, and it was really dirty. So anyway, after I cleaned it, I did flip it over, and I took painter's tape and I put it all the way around the perimeter of the back. I decided to do that because the glass was so stubborn, but normally I would pop the glass out, put Elmer's glue around the perimeter, put the glass back in, put another layer of Elmer's glue around the perimeter, and let that dry overnight, and then put the painter's tape on. And the other thing I did was I put those cups underneath it so that the wasn't putting any undue pressure on the tape. Next, I put the resin on and use my spoon to push it up into the corners and around the edges. It's easier to work with your resin and put it in place when you don't have anything on your glass or canvas, if that's at all possible. And next I use the kitchen torch to get rid of the bubbles, and I put the little bunny rabbit in its place. Then I take some gold reflective fire glass and put it on the bottom under the bunny. You can see my table's not not level because it's floating around. And yeah, this is real pretty fire glass. I also put some pearls at the bottom and a little butterfly up at the top. I thought it needed something extra. So when I'm done with the project, I always come back every 15 minutes to check on it, to check for glass placement, to check for bubbles, to see if it needs to be retorched. I also check for sediment, use a toothpick to get it out. This is the second project with the 2 bunnies that have the white flowers on them. So after it had set up overnight, I took some more resin, just a thin layer of resin, set the 2 bunnies in it, and then took some gold reflective fire glass that I got on Amazon and put that around both of the bunnies, but so that it wouldn't occlude the napkins when you put napkins in it. And then on top of that, I put a gold flower, a white flower, and a gold butterfly in the middle. And I also took some little white pearls and I drizzled a little bit of resin on top. It has a good base under it, so it really only needs a tiny bit of resin on top. And I did the same for both sides. And then let this set up again overnight. So these are the first two kissing bunnies. The white has set up. I pour a thin layer of the clear resin over it, and I sprinkle some, this is actually Dollar Tree glass that I've painted with the grass green Bombay India ink. Just shook it up in a cup and poured it out onto some nonstick parchment paper to dry for about an hour. So easy to do, so pretty, will not run, will not fade under resin. And I also put some acrylic flowers around the perimeter, and I end up coming back adding more. Just keep watching till the end. This one turns out super pretty. Looks kind of sparse now, but I do end up putting more on it. This is one of the bunnies with the dried flowers, the pink and purple dried flowers. The white has set up. I put a thin layer of clear resin, put the bunny in, put the green painted glass around the outside, some pink and some purple Ashland decorative filler that's been colored pink and purple. And then I take some pearls and put it down in the bottom. You can't see, but I took two real pretty acrylic butterflies and placed them in front of the bunny. You'll see them in a minute when I demold this. Okay, here goes the next two bunnies. So again, the white has set up overnight, and I forget to pour the resin down first. So I put the bunny in, I put the green glass in, I pour the resin over it, and I kind of have to hold on to the bunny and let the resin kind of float around so that it's evenly distributed. It's nice to have the resin in first because then it gives you a nice base for the glass. You don't have to put as much on. So again, the green glass, and then these little chickies in the eggs, those are actually erasers that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and they are so cute. And then I put a couple or a little bit of purple glass and a little bit of pink glass, again Ashland decorative filler that's been colored. Those were colored with the TAMIYA spray paints, and then these two little styrofoam eggs and some little flowers I put on both sides. I repeated the same thing on the other side with the little chickie coming out of the egg. It turns out so cute, and I put some pearls on it too. And like I said, I repeat the same thing on the other side. And I drizzle a little bit of resin over everything that I have just added to make sure it's anchored down real well. And on to the next, I pour a little resin in the bottom, and these are the other two kissing bunnies, and these two do not want to stand up for anything. I'm actually holding on to them as I'm putting the green glass in, and then I give up and I set them to the side while I add the rest of the glass. I put some orange crushed glass, some yellow crushed glass, 3 real pretty acrylic flowers, and I put the pearls in the center of each of the flowers. I'm trying not to really pour over the flowers, just putting a dot of the resin in the center and then putting a pearl in the center of each of the flowers. And then trying to prop the bunnies up again. I've got that one little holder next to it, and at the end later you don't see, but I end up having to put one on the other side because the other one falls over. Aren't they cute? And I promise I'll show you close up at the end. And then here I am demolding it, and I think this turned out so pretty. I really like this. Is really beautiful the way it turned out with all the gold and pearls, and I just think it's so pretty. Now I don't know about you guys, but I could think of dozens of other things to put on there to make the napkin holders with. So here's the first set of kissing bunnies, and I think these turned out real cute. And you can see I had added some orange glass to that too, and then I'm taking a little bit of UV resin and putting it in the center of each of those acrylic flowers and putting a pearl in the center and then putting the UV light on it. This is the new Let's Resin UV light that you can charge, and you don't have to have a cord attached to it, and it's really nice because you can balance it so many different ways. And this is the other bunny with the flowers, and you couldn't really see me putting this together. And I told you I had put a couple butterflies up front, and they look super cute on it. I thought that would be different. Watching, I'm going to show you up close all of them together at the end. And then these last two that I demold, the one is the glass flower that has the Easter egg in it. The Easter eggs and the little chickie. I think that little chickie is so cute. Isn't that adorable? And those are Dollar Tree items that are in there. And then this one is actually my favorite. This has the acrylic flowers. It is so sparkly. This is my favorite of all of them.
Hey everyone, so it was like a marathon of bunnies. So I started with one idea and then I just thought of another and another, and I didn't know whether to put it in 2 videos or 1 video or what to do. But anyway, it all ended up in 1 video, and this is my absolute favorite, and it's because it's so sparkly. And what makes it sparkle is the acrylic flowers, the ASHLAND decorative reflective glass, and I think the Let's Resin chameleon flakes that I put in the second layer under it. I think that makes it sparkle. And the thing with these acrylic flowers, because they're faceted or they're cut, you cannot dump resin over them or flood them with resin, because they will actually appear rounded and they'll lose their sparkle. So you can just put a little bit on it to get the pearls to stay on and whatnot, but that's about it. So this is my favorite. I think that's so pretty. So yeah, the kissing bunnies. And then this one, I had to do one of the bunnies with glass on it, and I glued a little flower there. And isn't that little chickie so cute coming out of the egg? That is actually from the Dollar Tree. Those are erasers. I think it was like a bag of 6 or 8 of them for $1.25. I thought they were adorable. And then the little styrofoam eggs are from the Dollar Tree too. I thought that was so pretty. And then I love the dried flowers on the white background. I think that looks so pretty. And you couldn't see me putting the butterflies on there. I put 2 little butterflies on. I thought that was super cute. And you know, all of them are kind of plain on the back. They're white, but I love the flowers on the white background. So I didn't know if maybe we did like 3 layers and did like a sparkly purple, then white, and then the flowers would still be on a white background. And so these are the other kissing bunnies, and I thought those turned out super pretty with the flowers on them, the dried flowers, and then the acrylic flowers at the bottom with the white, like the white background. But I thought that was real pretty too. And then the napkin holder. Could you not think of a million different molds that you could put on to create a napkin holder now? I mean, now once I started thinking about it, isn't that pretty? And I love the gold reflective glass with the butterflies and the flowers. I love the way that turned out. And then of course I had to do one with on glass too. And what got me thinking about this was last year I actually did a cross with these same acrylic flowers in it. And so I thought, oh, why couldn't I do that with a bunny too? So this one I actually did last year, Easter Blessings, with those same acrylic flowers in there. And I thought that turned out so pretty. I thought, oh, why not try it in the bunny? So, so anyway, the bottom part of these molds are actually the round molds. And you can use a coaster mold, but they have to be deep enough. This is a 4-inch coaster mold, and they have to be deep enough to, you know, make the base. So I actually bought these. These were 3 for $15.99, and it came with the 4-inch mold that I used for the smaller bunnies stands, and it came with the 6-inch mold that I used for the napkin stand. And you really need a 6-inch mold for the napkin stand. And it also came with the 8-inch one. They might call it 9-inch because this lip makes it 9 inches, but the interior diameter is really 8, which I have used in at least 20 different products. And projects. And if you've ever watched any of my videos, I have some super cute projects with this mold. So that's why I figured I could always use another one. So if you're wanting to make any of these, the 3 of them you can get together for $15.99 on Amazon, and I'll leave a link in the description. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoyed the channel, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell. You'll be notified every time I put out a new video. I put one out every week, sometimes 2 a week. We have the Facebook page going, an amazing group of artists from advanced glass artists to beginner glass artists. Everybody's always asking questions, getting ideas, no questions too silly. Come join us over there, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching.